"Don't move, or she's gone!" The scream echoed through the crowded train station. A young woman was dragged into the center, a knife pressed against her throat, trembling in terror. The crowd panicked and backed away. No one dared to move. A man in a worn coat, holding his daughter's hand, quickly placed his child in a stranger's arms, then stepped forward. He raised both hands, walking straight into danger. In seconds of chaos, he struck the kidnapper's arm, pulling the girl to safety. He collapsed, blood soaking his shoulder. The girl screamed in shock. Her savior was the janitor from her father's company. Daniel was 38, a single father working as a janitor in Anderson Corporation. His daughter Emily, 10 years old, was his only light after his wife died from cancer 2 years ago. Their life followed simple rhythms: morning school runs, evening shifts, precious bedtime stories squeezed between exhaustion. He taught Emily one unbreakable rule: if someone needs help, we don't walk away. December 24th. Daniel finished early, taking Emily through the bustling train station for Christmas Eve dinner at home. Holiday lights blazed everywhere. Crowds pushed and shoved. Station announcements crackled constantly. Suddenly, chaos erupted. "Stand still or she dies." A young woman, designer clothes torn, was dragged forward with a blade at her throat. People scattered in panic. No one moved to help. Emily gripped Daniel's hand tighter. "Daddy, should we help her?" Daniel's heart pounded, but his resolve was steel. "I won't break my promise to you, sweetheart." He gently placed Emily with a nearby woman. "Please watch my daughter." Emily called after him, voice trembling but trusting. "Come back safe, Daddy. I don't need presents. Just need you to keep your word." Those words hit Daniel like lightning. His little girl understood. The lesson wasn't just talk, it was who they were. Daniel faced the chaos ahead. Every instinct screamed danger, but Emily's faith pushed him forward. This wasn't about heroics. This was about being the man Emily believed in, the father who kept promises, no matter the cost. The kidnapper's wild eyes darted frantically. His hostage, a girl barely 20, sobbed in terror. Daniel heard Emily's voice echoing, "We don't walk away." He wouldn't. Not today. Not ever. The station felt frozen in time. Hundreds of people, but only one man willing to act. Daniel's construction-worn hands trembled slightly. His janitor uniform felt suddenly inadequate, but Emily was watching. "Take me instead," he called out calmly. "I'm bigger. Worth more to you." The criminal hesitated, confusion flickering across his face. That split second was all Daniel needed. He lunged forward, knocking the weapon away, pulling the young woman to safety behind him. The blade caught his shoulder, tearing through fabric and flesh. Pain exploded through his body, but relief flooded his heart. She was safe. Police swarmed in, sirens wailing, chaos everywhere. Daniel collapsed to his knees, gasping. "Where's Emily?" His daughter ran to him, tears streaming. "Daddy, you did it!" The rescued woman knelt beside them, pressing her hands against his wound. "You saved me! Why?" Daniel looked at Emily, then at the stranger whose life he just preserved. "Because that's what we do," he said simply. Paramedics wrapped his shoulder. He refused extended hospital treatment. Emily needed Christmas dinner. "Will you be okay, mister?" the young woman asked as they prepared to leave. "I'll heal," Daniel replied. "Will you?" She nodded, something profound shifting in her eyes. "I think, thanks to you, yes." Walking away, Emily holding his good hand, Daniel felt complete. He'd kept his promise, to his daughter, and to himself. Tomorrow would bring consequences he couldn't imagine. But tonight, they'd go home, have dinner, and Emily would know her father was a man of his word. The young woman watched them disappear into the crowd, something awakening in her heart she'd never felt before. The next morning brought unwanted attention. Daniel arrived at Anderson Corporation to find coworkers staring. "That's him," whispered voices followed him through hallways. "The janitor who played hero." Daniel ignored the gossip, focused on his work. His shoulder throbbed beneath clean bandages, But bills didn't pay themselves. During lunch break, walking past the executive elevator bank, Daniel froze. The young woman from yesterday stood there, but now she wore an expensive business suit, hair pulled back professionally, radiating authority. "I was hoping I'd find you," she said quietly. "You work here?" Daniel's stomach dropped. In a manner of speaking, her smile was nervous. "I'm Claire Anderson." The name hit like a punch. Anderson, as in Anderson Corporation, as in his boss's boss's boss. Daniel's blood went cold. "You're the CEO's daughter?" "Yes." Claire stepped closer, lowering her voice. "But please, don't let that change anything between us." Change everything? It changed everything. Daniel had risked his life for the boss's daughter. What did this mean for his job? His future? Emily's security? "Why are you telling me this?" he asked. "Because I owe you honesty, and because," Claire hesitated, "because I've never met anyone like you." Before Daniel could respond, Emily appeared from around the corner. She'd been visiting during lunch break, a treat Daniel allowed on Fridays. "Train station lady," Emily exclaimed, running over. Claire's corporate mask melted instantly. She knelt to Emily's level. "Hello there, brave girl. How's your daddy's shoulder?" "It hurts, but Daddy says heroes always hurt a little." Emily studied Claire carefully. "Are you visiting Daddy at work?" "Something like that." Daniel watched this interaction with growing unease. Claire seemed genuinely happy to see Emily, but the implications terrified him. "Emily, go wait in my supply room. I need to talk to the nice lady." Once Emily was gone, Daniel's voice turned serious. "What do you want from me?" "Want from you?" Claire looked genuinely confused. "Money? Silence? A favor for Daddy's company?" Claire's expression hardened. "Is that what you think this is about?" "I don't know what to think. Yesterday you were a victim. Today you're corporate royalty. People like me don't usually end up in people like you's good graces without strings attached." Claire was quiet for a long moment. "You're right to be suspicious. In my world, everyone wants something. And you, I want to understand why someone would risk everything for a complete stranger." Daniel shrugged, wincing as the movement pulled his stitches. "You would have done the same thing." "No," Claire said firmly. "I wouldn't have. I would have called security, stayed back, protected myself first. Then maybe you should work on that." The bluntness of his response surprised them both. Claire laughed, a real laugh, perhaps the first genuine one she'd had in years. "You're definitely not like anyone I've ever met. I'm a janitor with a 10-year-old daughter and a mortgage. We're not exactly running in the same circles." "Maybe we should be." Before Daniel could ask what she meant, his supervisor appeared. "Martinez!" "There you are. Mr. Anderson wants to see you. Top floor. Now." Daniel's heart sank. The CEO. This was it. He was about to be fired. Or worse. Claire touched his arm gently. "It'll be okay." "How do you know?" "Because I'll make sure it is." The elevator ride to the executive floor felt eternal. Daniel had never been this high in the building. Everything screamed wealth and power he'd never understand. CEO Robert Anderson sat behind a desk the size of Daniel's entire kitchen. Cold eyes, expensive suit, the kind of man who owned people's futures. "Sit down, Mr. Martinez." Daniel remained standing. "I prefer to stand, sir. You saved my daughter. I did what anyone should do." Anderson leaned back, studying Daniel like a specimen. "Anyone?" "Look around you, Martinez. How many anyones were in that station yesterday?" Daniel had no answer. "What do you want?" Anderson continued. "Money? A promotion? Better position for your daughter's future? I want to keep my job and go home to Emily on time." "That's it? That's everything?" Anderson seemed genuinely puzzled. "Most people in your position would ask for a reward." "I'm not most people." "No, you're certainly not." Anderson stood, walking to his window overlooking the city. "Do you know what my daughter told me about you?" Daniel stayed silent. "She said you didn't hesitate, didn't think about consequences, just acted." Anderson turned back. She said it was the first time in her life someone protected her without wanting something in return. She's your daughter. Protecting her was the right thing to do. Even if you didn't know who she was, especially because I didn't know who she was. Anderson was quiet for several minutes. You can go, Martinez. But understand, my daughter's safety is everything to me. If word of this incident spreads, it won't. How can I be sure? Because I keep my promises. Anderson nodded slowly. Yes, I believe you do. As Daniel reached the door, Anderson called out, Martinez, thank you. Daniel paused. For what? For giving me my daughter back. Over the following weeks, Claire began appearing around the company more frequently, always finding reasons to be near Daniel's work areas. She'd bring coffee during his breaks, ask about Emily, seem genuinely interested in their simple life. Daniel remained cautiously friendly but distant. The CEO's daughter wanting to be friends with the janitor felt like a fairy tale. And fairy tales usually ended badly for people like him. Emily, however, had no such reservations. She adored Claire, calling her Sister Claire and chattering endlessly about school, friends, and her daddy's bravery. She's really nice, Daddy, Emily said one evening. Why don't you smile more when she's around? It's complicated, sweetheart. How is being nice complicated? From the mouths of babes. One Thursday afternoon, Claire accidentally dropped her company identification card. Daniel picked it up, reading the full title that made his stomach drop. Claire Anderson, Executive Vice President, Future CEO. Not just the boss's daughter, the future boss. Claire noticed his expression. You saw the card. Future CEO. Daniel's voice was flat. It's just a title. Nothing about you is just anything. Claire sighed deeply. Can we talk? Privately. They found an empty conference room. Claire closed the door, suddenly looking younger and more vulnerable. I didn't ask for any of this, she began. The company, the expectations, the constant pressure to be perfect. Must be hard, Daniel said, though his tone suggested he didn't entirely believe wealthy people could have real problems. You think I'm spoiled? I think you're lucky. Lucky? Claire's laugh was bitter. Do you know what it's like to never know if someone likes you for yourself or for what you represent? To wonder if every friendship, every relationship is just someone positioning themselves for advantage? Daniel considered this. He thought about his coworkers' changed attitudes, the way people looked at him differently now. I'm starting to understand. When you saved me, you had no idea who I was. You just saw someone in trouble and acted. Do you know how rare that is in my world? It shouldn't be rare in any world. But it is. And that's why. Claire hesitated. That's why I need you and Emily in my life. Need us? You treat me like a person, not a position or a bank account or a networking opportunity. Just, Claire Daniel studied her face. Beneath the expensive makeup and professional polish, he saw something genuine. Loneliness, maybe, or hunger for authenticity. What do you want from us? He asked quietly. I want to have dinner at your kitchen table. I want to help Emily with homework. I want to laugh at bad movies and eat popcorn and feel normal. Claire, I know it's selfish. I know I'm asking you to let a complication into your peaceful life. But please, just let me be part of something real for once. Daniel was quiet for a long time. Finally, Emily would like that. And you? I think maybe I would too. That evening, Claire appeared at their apartment door. She wore jeans and a simple sweater, carrying groceries and looking nervous. Emily squealed with delight. Sister Claire, are you eating dinner with us? If that's okay with your daddy. Daniel nodded, stepping aside to let her in. Their small apartment suddenly felt even smaller with Claire in it. But as they cooked together, Claire's nervousness faded. She laughed at Emily's stories, helped set the table, seemed genuinely amazed by their simple routines. This is wonderful, she said as they sat down to eat. It's just spaghetti, Daniel replied. It's perfect. After dinner, Emily showed Claire her drawings while Daniel cleaned dishes. He watched them together. Claire's genuine interest in his daughter's artwork. Emily's animated explanations. Maybe this could work. "Daddy," Emily called out, "can Sister Claire help me with my school project?" "What project?" "We're supposed to write about heroes. Real ones. Not superheroes." Daniel's eyes met Claire's. "I think Sister Claire might have some good ideas about that." As the evening wound down, Claire helped put Emily to bed. She read a story, tucked her in, kissed her forehead like she'd been doing it for years. "Thank you," Claire whispered to Daniel as they stood in the doorway, watching Emily sleep. "For what?" "For letting me be here. For treating me like family." "You are family," Daniel said simply. "If you want to be." Claire's eyes filled with tears. "I've never wanted anything more." Over the following months, Claire became a regular fixture in their lives. She attended Emily's school plays, helped with homework, joined their weekend grocery trips. The three of them developed rituals: Sunday morning pancakes, Wednesday movie nights, Friday pizza and board games. CEO Anderson initially disapproved, but seeing his daughter's happiness, he began to soften. "She's different," he told Daniel during one of their increasingly frequent conversations. "Lighter. More herself. She just needed a place to be real. And you provided that." Daniel shrugged. "We all need family." One evening, while Emily played in her room, Claire curled up next to Daniel on their small couch. "I have something to tell you," she said quietly. Daniel's heart clenched. "You're leaving?" "No, the opposite." Claire took his hand. "My father offered me a position in the London office. Full autonomy, my own division." "That sounds amazing." "I turned it down." "Why?" Claire looked toward Emily's room, then back at Daniel. "Because home isn't a place. It's people. And my people are here." Daniel pulled her closer. "Are you sure?" "I've never been more sure of anything in my life." That night, after Claire went home, Emily crawled into Daniel's lap. "Daddy, is Sister Claire going to stay with us forever?" "Would you like that?" "More than anything, she makes you smile the way Mommy used to." Daniel's throat tightened. "She makes me happy too, sweetheart." "Then we should keep her." "It's not that simple." "Why not?" "We love her. She loves us. That's all that matters, right?" Once again, his 10-year-old daughter had cut straight to the truth. Love was all that mattered. 3 months later, Daniel received an unexpected promotion: head of facilities management, double salary, full benefits, an office with his name on the door. "I don't understand," he told HR. "I'm just a janitor." "Not anymore," came the reply. "Mr. Anderson specifically requested this promotion." Daniel knew Claire's influence was behind it, but when he confronted her, she denied everything. "Maybe you earned it," she suggested with an innocent smile. "Claire?" "Okay, fine. I mentioned to Daddy that you had management experience before Emily was born. The rest was his decision. I can't accept charity. It's not charity. It's recognition. You're good at what you do, Daniel. You care about people, about details, about doing things right. Those are management qualities." The promotion meant a larger apartment. Emily finally got her own room, painted pink with white furniture and a window seat for reading. "I feel like a princess," Emily declared, spinning around her new space. Claire had helped with the decorating, selecting furniture, hanging curtains, making Emily's room a little girl's dream. "Thank you," Daniel told her that evening as they watched Emily arrange her books. "For what?" "All of it. The promotion, this place, making Emily so happy. She makes me happy too. You both do." Their new apartment had space for a real dining table. Sunday dinners became elaborate affairs, Claire bringing ingredients for complicated recipes, the three of them cooking together. Emily started a gratitude journal, writing daily entries about their small victories. "Today, Sister Claire taught me to make real pasta. Today, Daddy's shoulder didn't hurt. Today, we laughed so hard milk came out of my nose." Daniel found himself looking forward to evenings more than he had since his wife died. Coming home to Emily's chatter, Claire's warm smile, the smell of dinner cooking, it felt like a family again. CEO Anderson began joining them occasionally, awkward at first, but gradually warming to Emily's endless questions and Claire's obvious happiness. "You've changed her," Anderson told Daniel one evening while the girls cleaned up after dinner. "She changed herself. I just gave her space to do it. She's never brought anyone home before, not since high school. She's never had reason to before." Anderson studied Daniel carefully. "You could ask for anything. You know, after what you did, the influence you have with her, I have everything I need. Most men would want more. Most men aren't me." Anderson laughed, a real laugh, perhaps the first Daniel had heard from him. "No, they certainly aren't." One weekend, Emily brought home a small wilted plant from school. "The teacher was throwing it away," she explained, "but I thought maybe we could save it." Claire knelt beside Emily, examining the drooping leaves. "What kind of plant is it?" "I don't know, but it looks sad." Daniel joined them on the living room floor. "Let's repot it, give it some fresh soil, see what happens." They spent the afternoon working together. New pot, better soil, placement by the sunny window. "What should we name it?" Emily asked. Claire and Daniel exchanged glances. "How about Second Chances?" Claire suggested. Emily clapped her hands. "Perfect." Over the following weeks, they tended the plant together, daily watering, checking for new growth, moving it to catch the best light. Slowly, tiny green shoots appeared. "It's working," Emily exclaimed one morning. "Second Chances is coming back to life." The plant became their symbol, hope growing from near death, beauty emerging from careful tending. As Second Chances flourished, so did their unusual family. Claire began staying later each evening, sometimes falling asleep on the couch during movie nights, Daniel covering her with a blanket before carrying Emily to bed. "Why doesn't Sister Claire just live here?" Emily asked one morning. "It's complicated, sweetheart. Everything's always complicated with grown-ups." Emily was right. Adult complications were keeping them from something simple and good. That evening, after Emily was asleep, Daniel found the courage to address it. "Claire, what are we doing here?" She looked up from her book. "What do you mean?" "This U.S. playing house. Where does it lead?" Claire set down her book, her expression suddenly serious. "Where do you want it to lead?" Daniel struggled for words. "I want Emily to have the family she deserves. I want to wake up every morning knowing we're all together. I want to stop pretending this is temporary." "And me? What do you want with me?" Daniel moved closer, taking her hands. "I want everything, all of it, forever." Claire's eyes filled with tears. "Even though I'm complicated, even though dating me means dealing with my father and his world and all the messiness that comes with it, especially because of all that, because you chose this, chose us, over everything else you could have." Claire kissed him softly. "I love you, Daniel Martinez." "I love you too." From her bedroom doorway, a small voice piped up. "Finally. I thought you two would never figure it out." Emily grinned at them, completely unrepentant about eavesdropping. "Come here, you little spy," Daniel laughed, pulling her into their group hug. "So Sister Claire gets to stay forever now?" Emily asked hopefully. Claire looked at Daniel, then at Emily. "If you'll have me." "Always," they said together. Second Chances had indeed bloomed into something beautiful. 1 year later, their apartment buzzed with Christmas morning excitement. Second Chances had grown into a magnificent plant, filling one corner with glossy green leaves and delicate white flowers. "Look how big it got," Emily marveled, adjusting the red ribbon they'd tied around its pot. "Just like our family," Claire observed, wrapping her arms around both Daniel and Emily. CEO Anderson arrived for Christmas brunch, carrying an armload of presents and wearing a Santa hat Emily had insisted upon. "Grandpa Bob!" Emily squealed, running to hug him. The title had evolved naturally. Anderson had initially resisted, But Emily's persistent affection had worn down his defenses. "How's my favorite granddaughter?" he asked, and swinging her around. "I'm your only granddaughter. That's what makes you so special." Daniel watched this interaction with continued amazement. The cold CEO had transformed into a doting grandfather. Emily's love-working magic on his hardened heart. Brunch was chaotic and wonderful. Emily chattering about school. Anderson telling stories about Claire's childhood. Claire burning the first batch of pancakes while everyone laughed. "This is nice," Anderson said quietly to Daniel while the girls argued over syrup flavors. "It is. I owe you an apology." Daniel looked at him curiously. "When I first met you, I assumed you wanted something from us. Money, position, advantage." Anderson paused. "I was wrong. You were protecting your daughter. I understand that. You gave me my daughter back. The real Claire, not the corporate version I was creating." Anderson's voice grew soft. "And you gave me a granddaughter I never expected to have. Emily loves you. She loves everyone. It's a gift, probably inherited from you." After brunch, while Emily played with her new books, Claire and Daniel sat by second chances, drinking coffee and watching snowfall outside. "Any regrets?" Daniel asked. "About what?" "Choosing this life over London, over your own empire." Claire considered the question. "Do you know what I realized about power? Real power isn't controlling corporations or making millions. Real power is being loved for who you are, not what you own." "And who are you?" "I'm Emily's sister Claire. I'm the woman who burns pancakes but makes you laugh. I'm the person who gets to come home to this every day." Claire gestured around their warm apartment. "That's worth more than any company." Emily appeared between them, climbing onto the couch. "What are you talking about?" "Grown-up stuff," Daniel replied. "Boring stuff," Emily declared, snuggling into Claire's lap. "Actually," Claire exchanged glances with Daniel. "We have something to tell you." Emily perked up. "What?" Daniel pulled out a small velvet box. "I asked Sister Claire a very important question yesterday." Emily's eyes widened. "Did you ask her to marry us?" "Something like that." Daniel opened the box, revealing a simple diamond ring. "She said yes." Emily shrieked with joy, bouncing on the couch. "Really? Really, really? Really, really?" Claire confirmed, showing Emily the ring on her finger. "So now you're going to be my real mom?" Claire's eyes filled with tears. "If that's okay with you." "It's the best present ever." Emily threw her arms around Claire. "I'm going to have the most beautiful mom in the whole world." Anderson cleared his throat from the kitchen doorway. "Did I miss something important?" "Grandpa Bob. They're getting married. We're going to be a real family." Anderson smiled, walking over to shake Daniel's hand. "Welcome to the family, son." "Thank you, sir. Call me Bob. We're family now." That evening, after Anderson left and Emily was finally asleep, Claire and Daniel sat by their Christmas tree, second chances blooming beside it. "Happy?" Daniel asked. "Completely." Claire curled against his side. "You know what I love most about this?" "What?" "A year ago, I thought my life was over in that train station. Now I know it was just beginning." Daniel kissed the top of her head. "Second chances. The best kind." Outside, snow continued falling, blanketing their neighborhood in peaceful white. Inside, their little family slept safely, loved unconditionally when home at last. Some stories end with dramatic revelations or grand gestures. This one ended with something better. It ended with love choosing love, every single day. If this story touched your heart, please leave a comment below and subscribe to Hidden Heart Stories. We share stories that deserve to be remembered, stories written by real people, not mass-produced by AI, because the best stories come from the human heart.